My, what a smashing ensemble. You wear it well.
Shut up. I look like a twit.
The caftan is sewn of the best fabrics available, and according to the best tailoring practices. But one must have a modicum of taste to appreciate this. Even the most exquisite robes cover only deficiencies in beauty, never in refinement.
Usually wear something different, better suited to my trade. Got nothing against this particular outfit, though. Just don't exactly feel comfortable in it. And I despise formal occasions.
Nothing one can't get accustomed to. Now, be so kind as to stand still. All that being as it may, Toussaint's highest honor, the Order of Vitis Vinifera, demands appropriate attire. The Duchess cannot be expected to drape the medal on a suit of armor caked in mud. Palace protocol places enormous emphasis on form, virtuous tradition, etiquette.
Huh. A tradition which values appearances ahead of all else. Which calls for lordly, glistening triviality and misplaced generosity.
Joo. Siis... No, se nyt varmaan selviää ainakin tässä vielä, mutta siis mä nyt en ihan jäi vähän epäselväksi, että siis kuoliko Deathlaffi vai ei. Mä veikkaisin, että ei, koska Higher Vampire on käytössä mahdoton tappaa. Mut siis täytyy sanoa, että toi oli ehkä tämän pelin paras bossi taistelu. Jos nyt pitäisi tällä hetkellä sanoa, niin sanoisin, että joo. Vaikee. Mut ei liian vaikea, missään nimessä. Tietysti mulla vielä vähän hyödyttää se, että mä olin kohtuu korkea levelinen. Muutamia levelejä jopa ton tehtävän yläpuolella, joka aina vähän helpottaa. Mut siis niin kun, joo. Esim. Niin kun pääjuonen viimeinen taistelu, bossitaistelu. Se oli mun mielestä tosi pettymys, koska mä ainakin, se oli ihan pelkkää ylijuoksua. Mut nyt niin kun joutui oikeesti... Tuo oli hyvällä tyylillä tehty, varsinkin se kakkosmoodi, missä mä nyt vähän olin sille ihmeessä, että mitä hemmettiä. Että ne oli niin vahvoja ne hyökkäykset, että sun piti oikeasti niin kuin opetella se patterni, millä tyylillä se hyökkää. Ja tavallaan sen kun sä opettelet, niin selkeään se on aika helppoa periaatteessa. Vaikka mä sille kyllä siellä kakkosmoodillekin kyllä kuolin aika monta kertaa tossa offscreenillä. Mut siis niin kun, joo, tää on niinku perinteisesti eri formeja bossilla, joka tuo sen mukavan elementin siihen. Ainoa valittamisen aihe siinä oli tosiaan se, että toi save-systeemi oli tehty todella paskasti. Mut siis niinku muuten ehdottomasti tämän pelin paras bossi, mun mielestä.
Sound wistful. Pensive, Regis. That because they refused to buy you a new outfit?
Hardly. It's the tone I ever adopt when I find myself pondering, which, believe it or not, happens quite a lot. Besides, I've no need for a new outfit as I shall not be attending the ceremony.
Why not?
Because unlike you, I don't have to. I shall begin to pack my belongings instead. I trust you'll join me later, once you're richer by a medal and a fascinating new experience?
Count on it. Ceremonies, medals honoring virtues, just keeps coming up.
I've had no reprieve either. And I keep thinking of the last great virtue, compassion. It's the one piece of the puzzle that never seemed to fit.
Mean you suddenly believe the 5 virtues theory, after all we've revealed?
It's not a question of belief, superstition, or old wives' tales. It's a conclusion derived through exercising pure logic. Siana planned everything in advance. Had we not stopped her, surely there'd have been a 5th victim. One the gossips would have associated with a lack of compassion.
Her plans don't matter now. Can't act on them. Ask the messenger who delivered my invitation to the ceremony. Siana's in the palace. Courtiers pressured the Duchess to lock her in a tower.
Do you care not a whit who else was in her black book? We've some time before the ceremony. We could still chat with that boot-cleaning urchin. He was the one to pass the victims' names to Detlef. Perhaps we missed something.
Compassion. viimeinen on se? Mä veikkaan, että se on kyllä varmaan joku tuttu. Kukakohan se olisi ollut?
Regis, Bootblack didn't say anything about making deliveries when we talked to him. How do you know he handled the letters?
While you basked in glory and tried on new formal wear, I conducted a little investigation of my own. You'd be very proud to see how I conducted myself. I began by concocting an ample supply of boot wash for our enterprising young friend. I'd observed that among street folk, amidst their society as a whole, reciprocity takes precedence over all other codes, and thus no good deed goes unrewarded. Of course, the same holds true for malicious or destructive deeds.
The letters, what's the connection?
When the bootblack arrived to collect his bucketful, he hinted he knew more. Simply put, we'd failed to ask the proper questions when we chatted earlier. It took a bit more tongue-loosening, but ultimately he spoke. He admitted he'd handed Dettlaff the letters. He knew this information was valuable to me. In providing it, he was simply repaying me.
Joo, no miksei? Eikä me voida mennä suoraan saman tien.
All in all, why not check up on that? We'll go together, assuming we're done here.
Niin.
I am done, yes. It lies in your hands now to see if you are able to present my handiwork at the ceremony with the dignity it is due. Or if you will first destroy it, crawling about the city's underbelly.
Promise to be careful.
Nyt mulla just tuli mieleen, että käykö tässä sille, että Syanna periaatteessa yrittää sen viimeisen vielä toteuttaa? Ja voisiko olla, että se olisi oma sisko?
Swordsman. Good to see you. Here for a spiffing? Dirty boots are a stain on professional dignity, you know. Step on up.
Need to ask you something.
Yet again? Go on then. I'm a proponent of free speech and I will gladly tell you all I know. But why not get your boots shanked while we jabber?
Guess they could use a spit and polish.
Then I shall take advantage as well. A friend of mine used to say boots should be as clean as the soles that wear them.
Clean boots, clean soles. A fine slogan.
Niin, rupesin just nimenomaan, että olisiko se tähän tarkoitus vähän se, että me selvitettäisiin kuka on se viimeinen nimi listassa. Ja että se voisi olla se, että Syanna oikeasti vielä yrittää sen saada pois päiviltään. Musta vähän tuntuu, että se on aika tuttu nimi. Ja olisiko se olla oma sisko? Anna Henrietta. En tiedä, sellainen tuli mieleen vaan.
How's business?
Well enough, I can't complain. Though it'd be even better were certain folk to sit down for a shine as they stood and chatted.
Man in the frock coat. You passed him some letters, remember?
Why, of course. I'm young, got a mind like a steel trap, but...
If you're about to tell me this information'll cost me, forget it. How'd you get those letters?
Beggars brought them.
Why didn't you tell us this before, when we first talked?
You didn't ask about beggars now, did you?
Beggars. Tell us more about them. How many were there?
Why, 4. 1 for each letter.
Just 4? Sure you didn't get a 5th?
I can't count, you know.
Remember anything else? These beggars have anything in common?
What? Come now. Each was different. Some had mismatched boots, others had no boots at all. Oh, I know! They all had no home!
Kid, my patience is starting to run a little thin. Now think hard.
Okei, pitääkö meidän nyt valita oikea kysymys? No mutta se sanoi periaatteessa jo, että ne ei ollut mitenkään niinku ihmeellisen näköisiä.
Where'd they get the letters? They picked them up? Get them from someone?
I don't know. They'd come, hand me a letter, and walk away. I asked no questions.
Geralt, allow me to ask a question. Listen, lad. I'll be glad to mix another batch of that bootshine for you. But you must focus now and tell us all you know. Where can we find the beggars?
Well, at the shelter, most like.
Where's that?
Everyone knows. It's just round the corner. Up those stairs, then right.
Thanks, kid. For your trouble. We must visit the shelter. Look around inside.
Koska mä jotenkin rupesin nyt miettimään, että pakkohan tässä nyt on tapahtua vielä jotain eeppistä. Koska kun mietitään, niin toihan oli niin iso kliimaksi toi bossitaistelu. Et jos tässä nyt ei olisi niinku mitään ihmeellistä tässä lopussa, niin tämähän nyt olisi tosi huonosti rakennettu. Eli todennäköisesti tässä vielä on joku twisti. Voisin veikata näin.
You've to move your little camp elsewhere, got it? This is a decent district. You? What do you want?
To talk.
Here, that's a waste of breath. We've tried it, only to tire our lips. We'll use other means of persuasion now. Gentlemen, calm, please. Either get out along with these flea-ridden vagabonds, or we'll toss you all out. Our patience is gone. This place is no longer a rank refuse dump.
Scram! Decent folk live here.
The shelter, them living here, bothers you. Question is why.
Look, Ballard. Another defender of the poor, fighter for justice.
Damn nuisance. We've our women and young folk living next door, when even grown men fear to walk past such rabble.
Decent folk you mention. Mean yourselves.
Why? Do you doubt it?
Hell yes.
Hear that, Artois? He poking insults us. On our own turf.
Niin, mitä mä arvasin, että tää päätyy tähän?
We should step aside, good fellow. My friend is perfectly capable of settling this unfortunate dispute on his own.
Let's dance, dance, dance.
Not your lucky
Tosta sais niin... Oho! Tosta sais niin hyvän giffin kyllä. Mites tää nyt toimi? Se oli suojaus, joo. Niin hyvän giffin tosta, kun Geraltti vaan pyörittelee päätään. No, lyötkö nyt sinne niinku oikeeseen suuntaan? Kiitos. Olette muuten aika kovin. Olette level 49.
Come now!
No joo, kaipa teet vissiin tiputte. Tiputte, oi! Se oli niinku kompo-vompo, tai siis niinku molemmat töi. Joo, pitäis vaan saada toinen tiputettu. Sä varmaan tiput ensiksi. Hyökkääpä. No en mä kerin nyt. Perse. Nyt mä oon jumissa. No ai. Tää nyt voi olla näin vaikeeta. No on tää. Sä kun se pitäis niinku... No ihan sama, no niin nyt tippuu ja sä tiput seuraavaksi heti. Lyö nyt! Mulla ei oo enää pottuja muuta. Näin, ennakoin.
All right.
Vähän liian vaikeeta taas.
Come, time to go. I thank you so much for your aid. I tried to reason with them, but they'd have beat me blue had you not come along. I'm grateful. Immensely.
What did they want from you?
They are neighbors. Wish me to take my folk, the shelter, elsewhere. They dislike that I help the beggars. I do not oppose going elsewhere were we to have somewhere to go. But you've come with a problem, have you? My turn to aid you.
What is this place? Poorhouse?
You could call it that. They come here to rest and eat a hot meal.
You help them, why?
Because they need help.
Need some information. Looking for a man who might have mentioned the boot black in Rue de Garl.
The boot black. A feisty lad. I know him.
Any of your, wards supposed to meet him recently or soon?
Forgive me. Those I help and I are not so close that I would know. But should you wait, they'll all soon come for their meal. You can question them yourselves.
Sure all your usual beggars will be here?
They're not obliged to come, of course. But they rarely find a decent meal elsewhere. So, almost all in the area eat here.
Thanks. We'll wait. Nice of you to let us.
Jaa. Eli löytyykö se 5. kerjäläispoika? Tai tyttö?
My dears, I've a matter to address before I serve the soup. These 2 gentlemen have some questions.
Niin vai onko siis minkä...
Pay attention.
Siis onko niinku vanhoja tyyppejä? Mitä mä luulen, että ne on jotain lapsia?
Your soup will go cold, and we wouldn't want that.
Tehän nyt missään tietysti missään sanottu, että ne on lapsia.
Recently, 4 of you delivered sealed letters to the bootblack. I know this.
Does anyone know what the gentleman means? Go on, speak up. Romain?
Why should I squeal? We were all told not to mention the letters. We all swore.
You can tell me, Romain. You were given a letter and you delivered it, right? Good work, Romain. Thank you. Who else?
I got one too. Gave it to the bootblack. Freshie, he got one. But he can't tell you, as he's not here.
I still have mine. I'm to deliver it 2 days after the Feast of St. Barnabas.
Okei. Mä en sanoisi, että se on meaningless kyllä.
It's a matter of importance to the duchy. Hand it over, or I'll take it from you, plain and simple.
But I was to deliver it personally. Let no one else see it. That is what she said, and she was frightening.
You ought to heed folk who are kind and honest. These men helped me a short while ago, helped all of us. If this individual threatened you, you need not keep the promise you made.
All right, take it. I didn't want to see the bootblack anyways. It's always muddy there.
Okei, nyt mua oikeesti kiinnostaa aika isosti. Kuka on 5th victim?
Damn it.
What is it? Another name, truly?
See for yourself.
Well. I must say, even I did not expect this. This time you will see to our duchessa. It seems we underestimated Siana rather
Tää ei
grossly.
voi muuta sanoa kuin, että arvasin!
Judging by this, Detloff was literally supposed to tear her heart out.
Yet first you must snap her neck. Puzzling.
Joo. No, olin oikeassa.
Puzzle complete now.
Alas, the matter's ceased to be a tantalizing brain tease and has turned incredibly grave. We've proof of a plot to assassinate Toussaint's ruler. We've proof of a coup d'etat.
Duchess was to be Detloff's last victim. Siana planned it from the start.
Indeed. The logical conclusion, Geralt.
4 seemingly random victims to start. The virtue's their only link. Enough to get folk talking about a righteous, vengeful beast. Obscured the victims' links to Siana, even as she had those she despised killed off one by one, leaving the Duchess for last.
Had she managed to fulfill her plan, none would have questioned the reasons. Most would have thought Anna Henrietta had died for her sins. She was known to show a hard heart on many occasions. Ample proof of a lack of compassion.
Why would Siana murder her own sister? Out of envy? To take power? From an inborn penchant for evil?
Yes, and yes. All seem likely, and none are mutually exclusive. But if you'd like to know for certain, you could always ask her yourself.
Joo, no. Mitäköhän tässä vielä tapahtuu? No ehkä mä rupean liikaa miettimään, koska tämänkin mä nyt vähän niinku arvasin. No en mä tiedä, oliko se nyt aika selkeä ja muutenkin, mutta anyway.
Think it's a good idea? After all, we foiled her carefully planned scheme. Think she'll even want to?
Talk to you? Would it harm you in any way to try? Some philosophers think empirical examination the sole path to knowledge. I believe you mentioned the Duchess keeps Siana locked up.
Courtiers were insisting on a harsher punishment. Much harsher. Think Anna Henrietta had to protect her sister from a lynch mob as much as she wanted to protect her subjects from a criminal. One way or another, she's locked away in a secluded wing of the palace, awaiting trial before a court of law. I'd need to get past some guards to see her. Coming with?
Of course not. I shall await you at Mare la Chaise-Longue. I'll not risk entering the palace after Dettlaff and his minions rampage.
Besides, I vastly prefer the company of a simple mug of mandrake brew to that of the Duchess's vile sister.
So, said straight up, it means you're going off to get drunk because you hate Siana.
I've never been fond of categorical statements of that kind, but I admit I could not vouch for my behavior in her presence.
She treated Dettlaff cruelly.
Caused his death in the end, and now this? Atop all that? No, Geralt. I will not go with you. I will await you at the cemetery.
Okei, eli Dettlaff siis niinku oikeesti kuoli. Oliko se niinku oikeesti ihan niinku lopullinen? Lopullinen kuolema. Joo. Tässä nyt on. No mä nyt en tiedä itse tarkalleen tossa kun itekseen pelaili, että kauan on mennyt. Mulla ei välttämättä tilakaan riitä. Mut nyt ollaan kyllä niin lähellä loppuun. Mä veikkaan, että sit on tää viimeinen juttu on tää syönnäkeissi. Sitten toi tilaisuus ja se on niinku siinä. Et kyllä mä mulla on hirveä nälkä tällä hetkellä. Muuten ihan hyvä fiilis. Ei väsytä eikä päätä särje niinku mä alkuun vähän veikkasin, että vois näin käydä. Mut siis on se nyt perhana vielä. Kyllä me vedetään tää vedetään tää loppuun tällä kerralla. Ja käydään eka tosiaan syönnälle juttelussa. Tää on ihan mielenkiintoinen, koska jos nimenomaan miettii kans, että tää on niinku optional. Ja me saatiin tällaista tietoa, niin miten tää tavallaan niinku... Mielenkiintoista. Mutta mitä sä nyt, se oli 2 päivää jonkun jälkeen? Oliko se nimenomaan tää juhla vai joku muu juhla? Eikö tää juhla nimenomaan vaan niinku mua varten tehty tai niinku?
Come on. Who's next?
En tiedä. Mutta kyllä se tosiaan vähän viittaa siihen, että tuskin nyt yhtäkkiä jos missä mä muuten on niinku menossa. Meneköhän tää tie nyt oikeeseen? Siellä on Syanna. Kai mä seuraan sitten. Kai tää tietää, että mistä mun pitää mennä. Niin, vähän viittaa se, että eipä se Syanna nyt hirveen lämpimiä tunteita kyllä niinku Anna Henriettaan kohtaan enää omaa jos niinku murha oli aikeissa. Mutta mitäkään helposti me päästäis. No. Yrittänyt tää ei laiteta. Mut joo, mä kyllä tykkään, että miten tässä on just tällaisia optional juttuja, jotka tuntuu, että saattaa vaikuttaa aika isostikin asioihin. Esim. Niinku se ripponi. Nimittäin se voi kyllä olla, että Syanna ei olisi selvinnyt hengissä ilman sitä ripponia. En tiedä. Siitä olette varmasti jo kommentteja pistänyt, on aika varma siitä. Tullaan kumminkin muutama jakso menty varmaan eteenpäin, tai ainakin 1. Mutta me ollaan huudellut. Ja kyllä tää varmaan joku vartija tulee vastaan. Vai tuleeko? Eihän tää nyt voi suoraan päästä. Vai voiko? Se on ainakin locked.
Halt!
Need to see Siana, urgently.
In the matter of?
Want to talk to her?
En mä nyt vielä ainakaan paljasta mitään.
Go see your gran at tea time. Not one locked up on the Duchess's orders. No doing without special permission.
period.
Found some information important to her case. Need an explanation, urgently.
Ah, fine then. You're that Witcher who solved the murders, no? Then you've my permission, but only for a few minutes.
Promise to be brief.
Jaa, eipä ainakaan vielä paljastettu mitään. Mitään raskauttavaa.
The Witcher will speak with the inmate. You can take a momentary break.
As long as it's truly but a moment. Highly irregular, this.
Have you come to see how I fare? I'm fine, thank you. Artorius' ribbon worked wonders. It's a shame they took it from me.
I know who the 5th victim was supposed to be.
Goodness, you're simply a compulsive snoop. I'm in prison. Dettlaff is dead. Could you not just drop it?
Sienna, stop pretending you couldn't care less. I know it's an act, and it's really starting to wear. Why do you want to kill her?
For such an accomplished investigator to ask about the obvious? Come now, Geralt. Why do you think?
Mä en itse asiassa tiedä. Se voisi olla siinä mielessä Curse of the Black Sun, että toi Sianna itekin vähän niinku uskoo siihen. Mutta mä veikkaan, että se on toi 3, koska se mun mielestä aika suoraan sanoo. Tietysti onko se nyt syy murhata. Mutta kyllä se nyt kumminkin tosta vähän niinku mainitsi siellä satumaailmassa. Niin mä otan ton 3.
Because she turned her back on you, then banished all memory of you?
Bravo, Geralt. Yet another riddle solved, and your sick curiosity sated. Well, what now? Off to share your discovery with Anna Henrietta? Oh, she's no longer in danger, true. But she very well might add a little something to your reward.
Definitely gonna tell her. Not necessarily for the coin, though.
Then why do it at all?
She ought to know. If only 'cause you'll probably try to kill her again if she ever lets you out.
I probably will.
Perhaps, just for a second, you could stop dwelling on all the wrongs folk have done you and forgive her.
Why should I?
For old time's sake. You loved each other once.
Please. I don't know who fed you that rubbish, but...
Read your governess's diary. You played together, were inseparable. Henriette'd get you into trouble sometimes, sure. But there were also times she stood up for you. When you had nightmares, only she could calm you. Time eats away at memories, distorts them. Sometimes we only remember the good. Sometimes only the bad.
If she loved me so, why did she wash her hands off me? Forget me, hmm?
Don't know. But you could just ask her instead of sending monsters after her.
There's nothing she could say to change what she did to me, to justify it.
Maybe. But there's nothing out there to justify what you did to her and all Toussaint. Yet Anna Henrietta hasn't given up on you.
Ugh. You meant what you said in the Land of a Thousand Fables. You really want a happy ending to this story, don't you? Ah, with all of us living happily ever after. Go, Witcher, or they'll give your medal to another. And that would be a shame.
Farewell, Sienna.
Commander de la Tour would like to see you. Shall we go at once?
Joo, jotenkin tosi mukava taas. Se on niin usein tässä pelissä nämä pienet rauhalliset hetket on ne missä tää loistaa. Ja taas niin tosi upeasti käytetty eri kuvakulmia, kamerakulmia. Ja jotenkin toi, miten ne oli tässä toi ikkunan kautta toi view, miten siellä aurinko paistoi, niin jotenkin todella upeen näköinen. Sopii tohon tunnelmaan todella loistavasti. Eikä me mennä eteenpäin.
Let's go. Wanna see him too.